It was a chilly October day in 1884 when 14-year-old Chinese immigrant Afong Moy stepped off the Washington ship and stepped foot into America. Barely making it here, she had the help of brothers Nathan and Frederick Carnes, two merchants who saw a market for Chinese imported goods, and a translator named Atung. While this moment was a turning point in Moy's life, the part that precedes it is more of a mystery, even down to their true birth names. But we all know nothing makes for good theater like a mystery. Today we will explore the story of someone many call the first Chinese immigrant and true sensation in America through her words and on her terms. From the public theater in New York all the way to my home of Cincinnati, her story has impacted many and shed light on what it means to be an American and what it means to be human. Today we're going behind the playbill of The Chinese Lady by Lloyd Suh and exploring the history that inspired it, the productions that precede, and how it landed at Cincinnati's Playhouse in the Park with a trip to one of my favorite local theaters. The trip to America for Afong was a long time coming. In 1760, the Qianlong Emperor declared China's borders closed to foreigners in an attempt to limit the Western influence on the nation. The ban was for all parts of China except Canton at the southern port. In this town, we find young Afong Moy as she grew up in an upper-middle-class family. At the time, Moy had practiced foot binding, an ancient Chinese rite of passage of binding one's feet as a symbol for submissiveness. Her next steps would be anything but. The little is confirmed of her journey to America. She made it there in 1834, and many attribute it to the help of several people. Moving countries is hard enough, but with the language barrier, it was Atung that helped Moy communicate in America, as she skyrocketed to fame as one of the first notable Asian American faces that reached public consciousness in America. Moy began doing performances in traditional Chinese dress and was gazed at as a foreigner in a less progressive America. Amidst being called many racist names, she dazzled audiences by showing them how to use chopsticks, drink Chinese tea, and sing Chinese songs. Her tours became very successful, with many calling it an unprecedented novelty. Several historians also note she was very much respected in these spaces, so much so she even met President Andrew Jackson and had a lithograph made of her before fading from the limelight. In hindsight, I'm certain these shows are perceived to be racially stereotyping, and they very much can be. But also Moy brought her culture and language with her and helped globalize the world and open the door for Asian American representation in America before it was even a consideration. And her story changed the world. The only problem? There's not a whole lot of documentation on her life, not even her original name. Afong Moy itself is a romanization of her real name when she arrived in America, and records aren't even sure if her translator was named Atung or Afong. But nonetheless, the impact she had was a strong story, and playwright Lloyd Suh decided it would be perfect for the stage. Lloyd Suh got his start in playwriting in 2006 with The Children of Vonderlee, a gripping look at the challenges that adults with disabilities face through their lenses, which the New York Times called insightful and risk-taking. But Suh found his footing best in Asian American stories, in which he drew on his own perspective and wrote compelling and fully realized characters and stories, such as American Wangap and Charles Francis Chan Jr.'s exotic Oriental murder mystery, which opened to acclaim. But his 2018 play, The Chinese Lady, was even more groundbreaking. The show, a historical fiction inspired by the true story following Afong Moy's story as an entertainer and immigrant in difficult circumstances, was developed in a joint production with Suh's organization, the Ma Yi Theater, and the Barrington Stage Company in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, where the show would premiere. Founding member of Ma Yi Theater, Ralph B. Pena, was named the director. The show began rehearsals in summer 2018 and opened at the Barrington Stage Company July 19, 2018, and reviewers loved it, with the Berkshire Edge calling it full of poignant revelations and a lovely production, though lamented some liberties in her story taken by Suh. The show was successful and ran through November before closing. But not all shows have the goal of Broadway, and good theater doesn't have to have that goal. The Chinese Lady would soon perform again across the US from Milwaukee to Portland, and saw an extremely successful run at the Public Theater in New York, where it was nominated for several Drama Desk Awards for off-Broadway shows, from Outstanding New Play to Outstanding Actress and Featured Actor. Now, 5 years later, it has finally landed in Cincinnati. I have said it once and I will say it again, Cincinnati has great theater. And the Tony-winning Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park is one of my favorites. Their brand new complex is absolutely huge and complete with a main stage where I saw a chorus line, but also a smaller, more intimate theater where I saw the Chinese Lady. The show's stars were no stranger to the material. Sammy Ma as Afong Moy is a first-generation and queer actress who has starred in the show before, along with the show with Ma Yi Theater, and played her role with grace, balance, and restraint, which worked well for her character with the burden she had to shoulder. Playing the translator, Atung, Albert Park has several Asian American and repertory theater credits, and even did a festival reading with Ma Yi as well. The show was presented on a thrust stage with curtains that extended all the way around it for transitions. The intimate theater really made the show feel like a meta-commentary on museums and viewing versus understanding, a central theme of the show. The set was adorned in lanterns, boxes, and cages, all things built to keep something or someone in. Symbolism alert! Playhouse always puts on an incredible show, and this show featured many AAPI actors and creatives, and featured a lobby display and initiative for stopping AAPI hate. Behind this playbill is an entire woman's story and life, only briefly shown to me in the form of a play. Afong Moy couldn't have known her first steps off the ship would turn into a moment into history, forever immortalized in theater canon. Her story sheds light on the past and present of prejudice towards Asian American people today, and the show only reinforced the idea that art allows us to learn while enjoying the spectacle of a story like no other. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Noah Sees Theater for more content about everything theater. Thanks for watching.